Good morning. Good morning. Today we have an interesting topic that we are going to be discussing. So I am ready to just jump right in it. Quick disclaimer, I am on a journey that I am seeking God for myself. I meet weekly and do my Bible classes. And so if I ever say anything against God, please show me in the Bible. And I will immediately retract my statements because I am a servant of God's. And I ask him every day to use me. So that's what I want him to do. I always want him to use me for the good. I have not fought the devil all this long for nothing. Okay. So I just want him to use me so that I'm able to help someone else. All right, so today we are getting into something that is near and dear to me, which is abuse. I am a survivor of many forms of relationship abuse. And so today we are going to identify the six main or the six common forms of abuse, which are we have physical, sexual, verbal and emotional, mental and psychological, financial, and I also have culture and identity. And we'll go over each one, mainly the first five. However, cultural and identity, which is number six, is also very, very, very important. But it's about 6 a.m. and I have to go to work soon, in about an hour and a half. And so I want to have time for edits. But I do want to express that is very important. And really quickly, cultural abuse is kind of like if you're in a biracial relationship and they hold, they say things such as that's niggerish or make you feel like you're never going to be able, or they might say call you names that are derogatory towards your culture, and that is a form of abuse. Using racial slurs, yeah, things like that. Now, blocking access to religious beliefs. That's a cultural abuse kind of situation. All right, so let's go with it. The first type that we are going to discuss is physical. But before I get into physical, I do want to kind of clear up the definition of abuse. The common definition is, or the most recognized definition is, a pattern of behavior used by one person to control another person, or to maintain power over another person. Right? So that's the definition. However, when you hear the word abuse, it's most commonly implicated immediately just physical, right? So because of that, we'll go over physical first. So with physical abuse, obviously, it's the most noticeable form of abuse, which might be pulling our hair. I've had that done in several different relationships. It could be spitting, punching, restraining physically. It could be knocking you down. It could definitely also be with the vehicle, driving recklessly. And that has actually happened to one of my best friends. And one day she'll come on and talk about that. But I'll just briefly tell the situation. She was in a high-speed chase from her husband. And quick thing, oh sorry, it just ran across my mind, and I promised my other friends that I would stick on track. But really quickly, I need to ask you all to please subscribe and like the page. It's the little bell. Please, it will help me out. Subscribe, like, share, because I put a lot of work into this. And so I'm just trying to inform and educate. So please like, subscribe, and share. On Saturday, I want to share, I'm going to have a very, 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 very special guest. Probably several of them, but one of them is one of my mentees. I work with her. I've been working with her for about 3 years, her family. And I'm going to interview her. And you'll hear the inside of her mind personally of how someone who has been in traumatic situations from birth. And I'm not going to get into her personal life. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to ask her things that are current because I don't want to expose her. She is underage. I do have her mother's consent, but I'm not going to reveal her identity. She will not be on camera. No. I'm not ready for them kind of things. Nope. So yeah, she's just gonna be simply off camera. You'll hear her voice, and you'll hear some of the how she rationalized things. It's like, oh my God, you'll hear the need for people who are trying to prevent some things. Okay. So please like and subscribe so that you'll get the little ding ding bell when we are on. Back to my friend. She was literally they were going 100 miles per hour, and I was so scared for her. I had to pray. I was on the phone with her. She was being chased by him, and they were doing high speeds, and it was a thunderstorm with a little heavy rain, and she had 3 babies in the bag, swerving. I thought I didn't know what was gonna happen, but thank God. And that was the ending of her escaping being kidnapped from her husband. So when she's ready to come on and talk about that, that's my best friend. So you guys will see her. But it definitely includes vehicle driving aggressively or recklessly. Okay, and now sexual. Before I get into sexual, my best friend is calling, so I do want to answer the phone for her. And she's also going to speak and give you all some suggestions and all of that. And I'm going to talk about her in a little bit. That's my best friend, y'all. Hold on. Y'all know my best friend called me, so I had to answer. And she's going to be talking a little bit later, and I'm excited for that. All right, so we left off on sexual abuse. The abuser can say things such as your sex isn't good enough, or no one is going to want you for your sex, or they can devalue, what you feel your worth is down there. They can make you feel like no one else is going to want you, or and that can leave, really, really deep scars too. It wasn't until 1993 where marital rape was illegal in 50 states, which means it was fine for you to forcefully make your wife have sex. And it wasn't until 1993 where that became illegal and across the United States. So, and that's not really recognized as a form of abuse in a relationship, but it is now, but some people think that, because of cultural things and how they were brought up, some people think that's normal to want it whenever and that you have to give it whenever, but that isn't. It can be a form of sexual abuse. All right, let's go on to verbal. All right, so I'm going to tell you one. I used to work with her, and what she said that her verbal abuse felt like, she used words such as, it felt like he was cutting me with a knife. He would tell me every day how ugly I was, and it would become to the point where she couldn't even look herself in the mirror and feel beautiful because someone mentally we're not going to get to mental because mental is different, but someone verbally told her every day how ugly she was. So, or how fat she was, or how she was never going to be able to lose weight for someone else, or how she was only beautiful to them, things like that. That is a form of verbal abuse. But that ties into also mental abuse. And I'm going to slow down with my speech because I really want to get into this one. Mental or psychological abuse happens when one person through a series of actions or words wear another person's mental state, well-being, and health down. For instance, I've heard stories such as the abusers deliberately moved my car keys and I could not find them to go to work. He made me feel like I was crazy. However, it turned out he was hiding my car keys the whole time. Another one, she would get, a different person, flat tires and not know why she had to go get new tires all the time. And even though the red flags directly pointed to her husband, she could not fathom why would he do that. You know, why would you make me miss a day of work to go get my tire changed? Because they want to wear down your mental state, make you feel crazy so that you have to stay with them, right? You can't even think past that toxic cloud that floats around in your mind because they're always wearing down your mental state, and that's harder to heal from. FYI. There is another one, which is financial. Okay. I have had a friend. She could not have a job. When she wanted to work, he would find every reason for her not to work. I have another friend. She worked. They shared the bank account. He would find every reason to not give her or hide the bank card or just weird stuff. She would say, well, oh, where's the money? Where's the money? And that is a big, 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 big red flag. Let me tell you, because eventually she had to stay home, couldn't make no money. So how can I leave him if I'm financially bound to him? I depend on his money because now I can't make my own money. I always seem to run out of money. I'm like, girl, you're not even spending that much money. How you broke? It didn't make no sense to me. But, you know, I don't judge because I have been through, for me, it's more of the physical, sexual, or verbal, or mental. I never really went through the financial. Well, when I was in college, I did for a short amount of time, and he beat on me like nobody's business. And everybody who knew about it to this day would be like, girl, you remember that black eye? I'd be like, I remember the black eyes. Yeah, I remember the black. He gave me 2 black eyes for no reason. I'm talking about, well, I would fight him back. I'm going to say that. I would fight him back. But, I mean, he just wasn't, yeah, he wasn't going for that. And when he made, back then, when was, when was it? I was with him in 2012. He made like $2,000 a week. I mean, as a college student, I'm dating a baller, you know. He got me in the nicest apartments, nicest cars. Whoever was my friend around that time, down in my young we will tell you. But, I mean, breakfast, I have Olive Garden for lunch. Dinner was Red Lobster. Whatever I wanted, he would give me money like this. Did not care, you know. But he was beating me. Ooh, he was beating me bad. But so I can't judge nobody. But that wasn't the only. So and I did the count before, out of 7 serious relationships, meaning that I've been with them over 6 months, and since the age of 12, all of my relationships besides 2 were abusive. I mean, 6 serious relationships. So let's break that down. All of them besides 2. So that's what? 4 over 6 will reduce to 2 over 3. That means 2 out of 3 of my relationships was abusive. How could my mind not be wired around trauma? How could it not? Because I have experienced such trauma. I even lost a stepsister to domestic violence. It was a murder-suicide. And I deal with that all the time. You know, it was pointless. So this is why we do this. All right, so I have a guest, and this is my best friend. She